Religion will be a part of human life for the foreseeable future, because a good part of the population needs the comfort of religion. They need that crutch to lean on. They can't bear to think that they'll cease to exist upon their death, so they choose to believe in heaven, even though all the science, all the facts, all the common sense tells them that there is no heaven. It's easier for many people to live their lives in the way they're directed to live, rather than to think for themselves as to how they should live. That's why some unreconstructed southerners in the deep south of the USA say that the slaves were happier being slaves and had to be forced, often at gunpoint, into liberation, because they were being clothed, fed and housed, and as long as they did as they were told and they worked hard, they didn't get into trouble. And you know, I would say that there was a proportion of slaves that were like that, just as there is a proportion of today's population that are slaves to their religion for the same reason. People will believe what they want to hear. That's why 20% of Americans believe Barack Obama is a foreign-born Muslim, despite ample proof that he went to a Christian church and despite his official birth certificate proving he was born in the USA. Those who want to believe he's a foreign Muslim will believe that, just as those who want to believe in the comfort of heaven will believe that. That's how racists like Adolf Hitler were able to rise to power. The German people lost the First World War, and the Allies imposed unsustainably high, some would say criminally unsustainably high, reparations on that country, keeping German people in a state of perpetual poverty. There were some Germans who did not want to believe that their terrible state was as a direct result of losing the First World War. They were only too ready to believe the rising young Adolf Hitler when he told them that the Jews were to blame for all their poverty. They wanted to hear something like that, so they believed it. So they went out assaulting, injuring, killing Jews. On the face of it, there's not much harm in people who prefer not to think for themselves, believing in a supernatural being and calling it God or Allah. But atheists who do tend to think for themselves know that in fact people who are only too ready to believe the garbage that charlatan preachers push down their throats is actually very dangerous indeed. Let's take one situation that's playing out even as we speak. In North Carolina, USA, where Pastor Worley last month depicted gays as evil and said they should die behind electrified fences, we've seen an alarming rise in that area in assaults on gay people, because those people in his congregation, and even those who were not in his congregation, who wanted to believe Worley about gays, went out and did something about it. They started assaulting gays. And then when another Christian, this gets interesting, when another Christian organization in North Carolina set up a Facebook page to condemn Worley and to protest against him, because they wanted the rest of the world not to believe that all North Carolinians were like Worley, somebody tried to burn down Pastor Worley's church because they were only protesting against his church as per the Facebook page. Religious people of all creeds and colours are dangerous people because they listen to some leader who is in it often for the power and the money, and they'll believe his crap so much that they'll act it out on the streets. Atheists know about all this because atheists are independent thinkers. They're called free thinkers. Atheists know that religion is one of the main causes of war and of terrorism and of atrocities and of poverty and of mass delusion and of so many other hugely anti-social activities. That's why atheists can come across as angry. We don't simply not believe that God exists. Many of us know how dangerous the delusion of God is. Wasn't it Christopher Hitchens who wrote The God Delusion? There is a book out called The God Delusion. We know how dangerous the God delusion is. And we want to see that delusion of God abolished. In other words, we want to see religion abolished. So if I and my kind come across as angry about religion, you'd better believe it. You'd better believe it.